5 years ago, my fiancé died in the line of duty. Not even her body was found. But at exactly 7 that night, August 20th this year, Captain Wang called me personally. He said, "Shen Buyu has been found. She's fine. She's alive and well. But she's getting married on the way to that coastal town." Captain Wang kept trying to talk me out of it, but I couldn't let it go. I pursued her for 2 years, cherished her for 5, and proposed to her twice. How could she forget me? I ran my thumb over the ring on my hand, thinking how she'd promised to marry me. How could she marry someone else? After 10 hours, the 4 of us finally reached the town. According to the file, she was there. Captain Wang pointed to a guest house called Sunny Day. It had gone viral after a tourist posted a set of photos. And in those photos, the female owner, caught by chance on camera, had gained countless fans. I stared at the door, speechless for a long while. When Captain Wang pushed it open, a spacious courtyard lay before us. There was a golden retriever and so many cats. Just then, someone stepped out from behind a curtain of shells. The instant I saw her, my body froze where I stood. My head buzzed. I'd seen people who looked 80% like Shen Buyu, even with the same tear mole beneath their eye. But one look told me they weren't Shen Buyu. But the woman before me, though more mature than the Shen Buyu I remembered, was still unmistakably my Shen Buyu. I moved toward her before I could stop myself, until I saw the beauty mark beneath her eye, and the red cord around her neck. Shen Buyu. I fought back a sob, and softly called her name, afraid I might scare her away. But she looked up at me, her gaze filled with unfamiliarity. "What? Shen Buyu? I'm sorry. You have the wrong person. I could be wrong about anything in this life, but never about Shen Buyu." Captain Wang hurriedly pulled me back. "Sorry. Do you have any rooms available?" "Yes." "How many rooms?" "2. Come in." With that, she turned and walked inside, without sparing me a single glance. I naively believed that once she saw me, she would surely remember me. But her gaze was not only unfamiliar now, it even held disdain. I didn't cry when I learned she was alive. I didn't cry when I learned she was getting married. But when I thought of the way she'd just looked at me, tears spilled down my face uncontrollably. When news of Shen Buyu's death arrived, I cried until I passed out again and again. I never thought that before I could wear a groom's suit for her, I would wear mourning clothes first. I couldn't accept Shen Buyu's death. I wanted to follow her. I tried to take my own life twice. Both times, I slipped my wrist. But I was saved both times. All I could do was plead in agony. "Please, don't save me anymore." But Shen Buyu's parents sat beside my bed, their eyes brimming with tears, too choked with sobs to speak clearly. "Fang Xiu, Ningbing is gone. You're the only child we have left. If you leave us too, how can we go on living?" At that moment, I suddenly woke up. Shen Buyu's parents, my parents too, were still here. If I left, what would become of them? They had already lost a daughter, so I never tried to take my life again. I tried to return to how I used to be. I went to work and cared for Shen Buyu's parents. Everyone thought I was normal, but none of them knew. I was only pretending. I tried to forget the news of Shen Buyu's death, pretending she was simply away on a long assignment. Every day after work, I'd hide in the home we'd prepared for our wedding, covering every window with the red double happiness cutouts Shen Buyu had made by hand. I put wedding bedding on the bed. I believed Shen Buyu wasn't dead. She had only been delayed. But that was all right. I would wait. 6 months after Shen Buyu's death, I took her parents back to their hometown to live out their retirement. But on the road, a car suddenly came charging out and flipped our car over. Her father, in the passenger seat, died on the spot. Her mother and I were rushed to the hospital. I was saved, but her mother would never see her daughter again. The nurse said her last words to me were, "Fang Xiu, don't cry. Live well." Shen Buyu was gone. The parents who saw me as their son were gone too. Everything was gone. The police told me it wasn't an accident. Someone had done it deliberately. They said they would keep me safe and told me to be careful whenever I went out. But I actually wished they would plan another car crash and take me with them. Then I could see them again. Later, my mind began to break down, and I was admitted to the hospital, partly to treat me and partly to protect me. They assigned me a therapist. The therapist told me, "Your wife loved you deeply. She didn't leave you a single word because she didn't want you to suffer. She wanted you to forget her and begin a new life." Later, they began giving me medication. I began sleeping for very long stretches. My mind grew sluggish, and I started forgetting the past. My desperate sobbing slowly gave way to silence. I became like a walking corpse. I spent 2 years in the hospital. When I was discharged, I had no thoughts at all. I simply began drifting through the rest of my life. Until Captain Wang called. No one had mentioned Shen Buyu for a very long time. So, when I heard those 3 words, I froze. When Captain Wang said Shen Buyu had been found, it took me a long time to understand what he meant. But then he said, she was getting married. I stood there holding the phone, unable to move. I didn't know how I was supposed to react. Should I be happy, sad, or angry? Captain Wang was still asking me over the phone whether I wanted to go with them and see Shen Buyu. See her. But who was I supposed to be when I went? Her fiancé? Or a classmate she barely knew? Could I really bear seeing her and another man be affectionate before my eyes? I wrestled with it for days. But in the end, I decided to go. Nothing else mattered. If she was truly alive, I just wanted to see her once. Identification, please. The woman's tone was casual. Captain Wang handed over our identification cards. As she took them, I clearly saw part of her left pinky finger was missing. As she walked toward the counter, she limped slightly on her right leg. Before I could speak, Captain Wang took the key cards and hurriedly had someone lead me away. I sat in the room for a long time before I came back to myself. Shen Buyu. How had she become like this? On the way here, I swore that when I saw her, I would give her hell. I would curse that heartless woman for forgetting me and marrying another man. But the moment I saw her, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I only wanted to hold her. I stayed in that room for a long time, until Sister Lee feared something had happened and forced me out. Everyone was having a barbecue in the backyard. At once, I saw Shen Buyu grilling skewers. Captain Wang stood beside her. They seemed to be getting along well. Fang Xiu. Feeling better? Much better. Ms. Shen, let me introduce you. This is Fang Xiu. Listening to them, I slowly held out my hand. Ms. Shen. Hello. Fang Xiu. Hello. It was the greeting of 2 strangers. At that instant, my nose stung. I remembered just after I had proposed, when she held me close and tenderly called me, "Hi, husband." In the end, we had missed our chance. Looking at the woman before me, I had countless questions to ask. But in the end, all I asked was, "This place is beautiful. Are you happy here?" "We are." "That is good." She was alive. She was living freely and happily. That was the best ending I could hope for. I stared at her blankly, unable to look away. Lovers reunited, yet strangers to each other. I stood right in front of her, but she didn't recognize the man who she had proposed to twice her fiancé. Suddenly, a chicken wing fell. She looked toward the doorway. "Potato, come here." When I heard that name, my heart skipped a beat. Potato. It really was Potato. Potato was the name of an orange tabby we had adopted together. She had named it. She had said, "It is fat and round, so let's call it Potato." Watching the big golden retriever trot over, its tail wagging, my throat tightened. Its name is Potato. Yes, it is fat and round. What else would I call it but Potato? I turned away and secretly wiped my tears. Only she could come up with a name that tacky. Though she had lost her memories, she still remembered the name Potato. So, how could she forget me? I should have filled every gap in her memory. Once the skewers were ready, we gathered in the yard to eat. Sister Lee handed out the skewers. When she put mushrooms on Shen Buyu's plate, alarm bells went off in my head. I sprang up and snatched them before she could. No, she can't eat mushrooms. Everyone at the table stared at me in shock. Captain Wang and Sister Lee hurriedly looked at Shen Buyu. Her face remained expressionless. She didn't touch the mushroom skewer either. Just as I stood there at a loss, someone suddenly ran over and wrapped Shen Buyu in a hug, nuzzling affectionately against her neck. "Shen Buyu, I missed you to death." Shen Buyu quickly grabbed the person behind her, stopped fooling around. As she pulled him from her back into her arms, she smiled and introduced him. "This is my husband, Lu Ran." I was still holding that mushroom skewer, staring blankly at the man and woman before me. My chest trembled. It felt as though a sledgehammer had struck me. The pain left me unable to breathe. "Hello, everyone. I'm Lu Ran, Shen Buyu's husband. Welcome to hiking. I hope you enjoy your visit." Captain Wang and the others greeted him one by one. Lu Ran was quite talkative. He found something nice to say about everyone. "You're Fang Xiu, right? Brother Fang, your hair is so thick. Unlike mine. I'm about to go bald." As he spoke, he suddenly remembered something. He turned to Shen Buyu. You must be blow-drying my hair wrong. Be more careful, or I'll be a ball groom at our wedding next week. Shen Buyu ruffled his hair and smiled helplessly. Lu Ran's eyes were full of anticipation for the wedding, just like mine had been. A wedding? That's right. Our wedding is next Wednesday. I hope you can all join us. Hearing that, I silently opened a can of beer. Lu Ran picked up one too, but Shen Buyu snatched it away as soon as he did. After saying that, Lu Ran ignored the rest of us and kissed her. Honey. Just one sip. The cup was full of roses bobbing on the surface. The moment it opened, the scent of roses drifted out. Lu Ran frowned in displeasure. Roses again? Honey, I've told you 800 times already. I don't like flower tea. How do you forget every time? I don't know either. I just make it without thinking. Hearing their conversation, I turned away and drained the last of my beer. I never liked drinking water. In high school, reciting lessons strained my throat badly. At its worst, I couldn't even speak. To make me drink more water, Shen Buyu came up with all kinds of drinks. Flower tea, fruit tea, oolong tea. She rotated through them all. In winter, she even made me apple tea and pear soup. Whenever I drank one extra cup of water, the proud Miss Shen would put my thermos on a pedestal. Seeing me drink beer, Lu Ran kept bargaining. Look, Brother Fang has already had a whole can. Maybe his hair is so great because he drinks beer. What a tease. I looked at the beer beside me and gave a bitter smile. My ex-girlfriend never let me drink either, because one bottle was enough to knock me out. She kept a very tight leash on me. Then now that you're drinking like this, won't she be angry? I looked past him, then shook my head. She stopped keeping me in line long ago, realizing he might have said the wrong thing. Lu Ran looked apologetic. He didn't fool around anymore. He obediently held Shen Buyu's cup and drank it all. Of all the skewers, I only ate that mushroom one, but I drank quite a lot. Feeling a little dizzy, I went back early. As I went down the steps, I heard Lu Ran's hearty laughter. I looked back. Lu Ran kept hold of Shen Buyu, gesturing wildly, as he chattered nonstop. Every so often, he tugged Shen Buyu off balance. Yet she patiently lowered her head and cleared the table, as though she had long grown used to it. Shen Buyu was not a patient person. I thought I was the only one she was patient with. I thought I was the only man she could ever love. Looking at Lu Ran, happiness practically overflowing from his face, I clutched my suddenly aching heart, feeling like I was dying inside. That should have been me. I should have been the one Shen Buyu spoiled rotten. I fought the urge to tear them apart and forced myself back to my room. I opened my bag and dumped everything onto the floor. Only after I swallowed my medication did my spiraling emotions begin to settle. By the time Sister Lee came in, I had returned to normal. I thought you'd make a scene. I was planning to, but suddenly, I couldn't bring myself to. I saw you brought so many things. Are you trying to help Shen Buyu regain her memories? That box holds our 10 years together. It has the first note she wrote me and her first love letter. It also holds every gift she gave me from 19 to 29, as well as our first photo together in our first wedding portrait. Actually, I never considered it. Why not? Thinking of Shen Buyu's parents' tragic deaths, I closed my eyes and steadied my emotions. The pain of losing the people you love, I don't want her to suffer through it twice. Shen Buyu and I were 19 when we met. She had transferred from another school. I heard she'd been expelled for fighting at her previous school. Back then, everyone saw her as a delinquent. But in the first placement test, her grades were surprisingly good. Yet no one knew. She didn't even have a pen during the test. Our first interaction was before that test. Someone lightly tapped me on the back. Excuse me, can I borrow a pen? She never gave it back. She even took my entire pencil case. Our closest interaction was at a sports day. Everyone had to participate in the fun sports events, competing in groups. Our group signed up for the three-legged race. Our group leader immediately chose the girl he had a crush on. That left only Shen Buyu and me, because I was so much taller than her. The rope would have had to be tied nearly around her calves, so I crouched down and tied it around my ankle. You tied it too low. It'll rub against your ankle. It's fine. I tied my side loosely, afraid it might hurt her. Before the referee called us to get ready, I reminded her again. Remember the rhythm I taught you. Don't rush. Whatever you do, don't fall. She nodded. At first, we worked together perfectly, but midway through, she twisted her leg and lost her rhythm. She was about to fall, but I caught her in time. For the rest of the race, I practically carried Shen Buyu. Once our group got closer, we all became much more relaxed around each other. Shen Buyu often climbed over the school wall to buy us food and drinks. But strangely, she always asked me first. During gym class, Shen Buyu was about to climb over the wall again. She casually asked what I wanted to eat. I said rice with toppings would be fine. But our group leader suddenly wailed dramatically. Brother Fang, the rice dish you want and the ramen I want are from different places. Now I can't have ramen again. I looked completely confused. It's fine. Just tell Shen Buyu what you want. She'll definitely get it for you. The rest of us don't get to be picky. Whatever you eat, that's what we eat. Later, our class organized a hike. We traveled in groups, with Shen Buyu walking on my right. I also discovered her backpack was like a Doraemon-style magic pocket. It had everything inside, even mosquito repellent. Our group leader's eyes lit up. Sister Shen, do you have cooling patches? Shen Buyu nodded and pulled out the patches, tossing them to him. The group leader immediately tried to offer one to me, but Shen Buyu stopped him. Don't give him one. He has one. Then she took a blue cooling patch from her backpack. It was more than twice the size of the group leader's. It's that big. I'm the group leader. But Shen Buyu ignored him completely. Shen Buyu's favoritism was obvious. Once we reached the summit, everyone ate the food they had brought. Most of it was fruit and bread. But Shen Buyu took a small lunchbox from her backpack. Inside were sandwiches she had made herself, and fruit she had cut up. I was flattered and overwhelmed. She looked unbearably smug. Piece of cake from me. Consider it your reward. Hurry up and eat. She had prepared such a generous spread for me, while she herself nibbled on dry bread. Our group leader stared at my sandwiches, his eyes nearly popping out of his head. He wanted a taste, but Shen Buyu's glare scared him off. It suddenly began raining on our way back to school. None of us had brought umbrellas, and there was nowhere nearby to take shelter. Ignoring the teacher's scolding, many students ran to the roadside to buy disposable raincoats. Shen Buyu was one of them. She was soaked to the skin, yet clutched the raincoat tightly to her chest. At that moment, the girl's feelings were impossible to hide. I had thought that at school, a girl's feelings would at least stay hidden until the end. But Shen Buyu was different. A few days before my birthday, Shen Buyu suddenly began appearing and disappearing mysteriously. She barely even took her classes seriously, and often disappeared. My birthday was also the school's anniversary. Everyone went to the rehearsal hall to practice the school song. The anniversary gala was that evening. When rehearsal ended, we found it had started snowing. After dinner, the boys and girls gathered on the balcony to watch the snow. Then a thunderous boom split the sky. Countless fireworks burst into bloom. As the fireworks shot skyward, I saw Shen Buyu hurrying toward us. She had been chosen as the anniversary gala's host because she was beautiful, and the gala was about to begin. I never expected her to come to our classroom then. What I never expected even more was that within minutes, the classroom was completely transformed. A glimmer of light appeared in the pitch-dark classroom. A huge cake sat on the podium. Meanwhile, Shen Buyu held a stuffed toy in her arms. It was rare to see her blush, so nervous she could barely speak. Fang, happy birthday. I hope you excel in your studies, and always stay happy. Everyone egged me on to blow out the candles. Just as I was about to close my eyes, Shen Buyu suddenly leaned close and whispered in my ear, "Will you be my boyfriend? You have to answer me when you open your eyes." Heaven knows how chaotic my mind was then. Fang, it's time. I will. After Shen Buyu and I got together, my world changed completely. The cool girl who was always so cold and sharp-tongued would wash my school uniform by hand. Every winter, my hands would get chilblains. No amount of cream ever made them better. When winter came that year, I received a pair of fluffy gloves. Along with them, there were heat packs too. During our morning runs, because I was tall, I stood in the back row. Shen Buyu would run over every time, pretending not to care, and toss a warmed heat pack into my arms. She timed exactly how long each heat pack stayed warm, replacing it just as it was about to go cold. Only later did I learn that as soon as she entered the school gates, she peeled the backing off a heat pack and tucked it inside her clothes. That way, it had just warmed up when she gave it to me on the field. I once asked her, why not give them all to me at once? So, I get to see you a few more times. Besides keeping me warm, my school uniform was practically stolen by Shen Buyu. Who would have thought the aloof school beauty would quietly shut herself in the bathroom at home, washing my uniform by hand, bit by bit? while tossing her own into the washing machine. Oh, right? Shen Buyu was a wonderful artist too. Using the initials of our names, she drew a flower on my uniform cuff. I do not know what material she used, but even after many years, that flower is still there. Even after winter ended, I thought it was time to wash my own uniform, but Shen Buyu still refused to give it up. Later, I asked her why. She said, "Washing uniforms wastes time. I'll wash yours, and you can stay with me a little longer." Who knew such a cold, cool girl could be so clingy? She never smiled around others, but inside, she was so obsessed with her boyfriend that she could not eat or sleep without him. The first time we held hands was at night, right after evening study hall. We both lived on campus then. As I walked her back to her dorm, she was carrying my thermos. When we passed the little grove, she suddenly switched the thermos to her other hand and edged closer to me. The instant she took my right hand, my heart pounded wildly. Shen Buyu had a bad temper, but she was stunning. Even her silhouette could captivate countless boys. So, whenever a boy asked for her number, she turned absolutely vicious. "Sorry, I have a boyfriend, and my boyfriend has no intention of dumping me." Even so, a few reckless guys would not stop pursuing her. By the time I heard about it, that boy had been relentlessly chasing her for 3 weeks. Love letters, thoughtful breakfast and dinners, and even a grand candlelit confession downstairs. The sight of those 999 roses made my legs go weak. I had never been so embarrassed in my life. I was so scared that I hid in the bathroom, afraid to come out. Who would have thought that Shen Buyu, the icy-faced girl everyone knew, would now be pouting miserably and acting cute in my arms? Stroking her head, I could only laugh. If he keeps chasing me, I'll knock his teeth out. He seriously cannot understand plain English. I already told him I have a boyfriend, but he still will not leave me alone. When she noticed I was silent, she sprang up and crouched in front of me. She looked at me in a panic. "Fang Xiu, you're not angry, are you?" "Of course not. I know exactly what kind of person Shen Buyu is. She is stubborn, single-minded to the core. She would never cheat." Later, that boy even came looking for me and tore me down completely. "Shen Buyu only likes your looks. She'll get bored of you in a few days. What she likes is someone who can move forward beside her, someone who shares her ambitions and interests. You are not her soulmate at all." Hearing his conclusion, I should have been angry, but all I wanted to do was laugh. That was when Shen Buyu rushed in. She looked panicked. She spun me around to check me over. "Fang Xiu, are you okay? He didn't hurt you, did he?" I shook my head. Shen Buyu visibly sighed in relief. "Good. This is your final warning. If you dare show your face in front of us again, you're dead." 1 second Shen Buyu was worried sick. The next, she looked ready to devour someone. The contrast left the guy reeling. "Shen Buyu, just admit it. You're only riding a hormone high. I'll be waiting for the day you break up. And Fang Xiu, are you just going to hide behind a woman? None of your damn business. Get lost, or I'll hit you." After she drove him away, Shen Buyu clasped her fist against her mouth. "Baby, you won't be put off by how violent I am, will you? That won't do. You can't abandon me either. I'm meant to be with you for the rest of my life. I can't live without you. If you dare leave me, I'll shamelessly cling to you. And even as a ghost, I would never let you go." Actually, Shen Buyu was a liar. Her stamina was no worse than mine. During that 3-legged race, she let me carry her on purpose. Once, I got hurt. A thermos full of hot water shattered beside me. Every glass shard buried itself in my leg. After I was taken to the hospital, the doctor told me to contact my family. I didn't contact Shen Buyu. I was afraid she couldn't handle it. As they removed the glass, I bit down on a towel, drenched in sweat from the pain. Then, the next second, I saw Shen Buyu come running toward me without even having time to change. Her face was drenched in sweat, and I'll never forget the look in her eyes when she saw the glass in my leg. That expression looked more pain than I felt. As they pulled out the glass, I couldn't stop myself from shouting, "It hurts. It hurts so much. I can't take any more. Stop pulling them out." Shen Buyu pulled my head tightly into her arms. Again and again, she soothed me. "Be good, Fang Xiu. There's only one piece left. Don't be scared, Fang Xiu. I'm right here." Shen Buyu was actually very good at comforting people. Whenever I had even the slightest ache or illness, it broke her heart. She would come comfort me right away. But when I was in the worst pain of my life, she wasn't there. I spent 2 days in the hospital. Shen Buyu practically moved into the hospital, so she could watch over me at all times. so I would not bump my wound and leave a scar. She refused to sleep on a temporary bed in the hallway. Instead, she brought over a chair and sat beside me, staying there all night. I felt bad for her. Come up here and sleep with me, okay? I have trouble sleeping in unfamiliar beds, but I can sleep anywhere with you. I knew Shen Buyu's temperament too well. She would never agree if I asked her outright. So, I had to play weak. Just as I made room for her, she suddenly pulled me back. Don't move. Sleep like this. But you're barely lying on the edge. This is already comfortable. I could sleep in a tree. Go to sleep. Every morning, she'd wash my face and hands with a warm towel. She'd help me to the bathroom. And she insisted on feeding me, even though only my leg was injured. And my hands were perfectly fine. I can do it myself. Be good. I'll do it. Open your mouth. She cared for my body even more than I did. To keep my leg from scarring, she had a classmate bring medicine back from abroad. The day we returned to school, she even bought me a wheelchair. Be good, Fang Xiu. Listen to me. Sit in it. Is that really necessary? I don't need a wheelchair yet. But Shen Buyu only looked at me sternly. It was the first time she'd ever looked fierce with me. I'll count to 3. I was ready to give in when she got to 1. But then she suddenly changed tactics. Baby, my sweet baby, I'm begging you. Please use the wheelchair. Your leg is still injured. If you can't exercise, then our daily bedroom routine will be off limits. I'll sit. Oh, come on. Whose adorable girlfriend is this? HMPH. This little lady belongs to Fang Xiu. Thanks to Shen Buyu, my leg didn't scar at all. Shen Buyu could never bear to see me suffer even a little. Yet the greatest pain of my life was because of her. After we graduated from college, Shen Buyu and I both returned home and found steady jobs. All we had to do was keep moving forward, and we'd have our happy ending. I rented a small place near my workplace. It had the bedrooms and a living room. Only days after I moved in, Shen Buyu moved in too. She carried her packed luggage, with a yellow wash basin hanging from it. Before I could even take it all in, she snapped her hand up in a salute. Reporting in. Shen Buyu is reporting for duty at your place as of today. Please take me in. When Shen Buyu saw I wasn't saying anything, she immediately started acting pitiful. Before I could agree, Shen Buyu was already inside. She found my bedroom without hesitation, and within minutes, had put her clothes in my closet. Then she took a shower in my bathroom. When she came out wrapped in a pink towel, I swallowed hard. This is really far from your office. So what? You don't want me here? No. It's a little chilly. Put some clothes on. Shen Buyu deliberately walked right up to me. Droplets at the roots of her hair ran down her skin, before finally falling into her towel. Naturally, my face went red. You just got back. You should spend more time with your parents. My parents don't need me, but I need you. That night, Shen Buyu showered twice, dolled herself up beautifully, and stretched out on my bed. She even gave me a smoldering look. Shen Buyu, present. What are you doing? She smiled mischievously. Ready to serve you, baby. But when she saw me putting on my coat, her expression changed instantly. Where are you going? I smiled and said goodbye. My boss just told me I have to work overtime. That was the deepest scowl I'd ever seen on Shen Buyu's face. She was seething with resentment and thoroughly unhappy. She didn't say a word as she drove me to work. When I got out, she glared viciously at my workplace and said, One day, I'm blowing this place up. After moving in with Shen Buyu, we lived a shamelessly intimate life. Especially Shen Buyu. She developed a particularly amusing habit. Whenever I called her name, she'd answer, present. When I asked why she answered like that, she said, because you're my boss. When the boss calls, I have to answer, present. Not long after we moved in together, Shen Buyu surprised me again. She was great at mopping floors and an amazing cook. All my clothes were folded perfectly neatly. Life together had only one drawback. Every night, she left me sore and aching all over. Living with Shen Buyu was absolutely wonderful. Shen Buyu was very busy with work, but whenever she had time off, within an hour, I'd see her the moment I stepped out of work. Whenever she came to pick me up, there was always a bouquet of flowers in her shopping bag. The quality of Shen Buyu's home cooking soared. For dishes and a soup, the two of us can't finish all that. Don't let it go to waste. Meanwhile, Shen Buyu wore a Hello Kitty pink apron as she vigorously stir-fried. Eat more. We burn a lot of energy at night. After dinner, we loved taking Todo for walks in the park near our apartment. We'd feed the stray cats, and play with the children in the park. Then I'd carry her on my back, with Tuto's leash in hand, and the three of us would head home into the sunset. Back then, I naively believed our happy days would last forever. Shen Buyu. Here, I think I'm living the life from my dreams. From my first day with you, I was already living it. The next day, I woke up late. Those memories had consumed me. By the time I got ready and headed out with my drawing board, lunch was already over. Sister Wang waved to me. Fang Xiu, we saved you some food. Everyone was chatting around the wooden table in the courtyard. When Lu Ran saw me, he ran inside. When he came back out, he held an orange envelope. He proudly handed it to me. Brother Fang, we don't have many relatives. We'd formally like to invite you to our wedding. I took the envelope, but didn't have the courage to pull out the invitation inside. Lu Ran kept urging me. Brother Fang, you studied art. Can you tell us what you think of this invitation's design? Luckily, Sister Li quickly spoke up. Here, let me see. This color is so pretty. I think so too. Shen Buyu chose this orange. Brother Fang, what's your favorite color? I put down my drawing board and pointed to my orange clothes. I never had a favorite color until I wore an orange jacket one day. Shen Buyu said orange looked good on me. From then on, orange became my favorite color. Brother Fang, you have such similar taste to my Shen Buyu. My Shen Buyu. Those words cut deeply into me. Once upon a time, Shen Buyu loved calling me, in front of others, my Fang Xiu. Sister Li saw my expression and immediately took the invitation from my hand. The cartoon inside looks like you. It's so cute, but this says evening. The wedding is in the evening? Shen Buyu requested it, because she said, someone can't get up in the morning. Hearing that, Lu Ran stared at me blankly. Brother Fang, how did you know? That's exactly what she said. But more importantly, Shen Buyu especially loves the evening. Shen Buyu once said, evening was her favorite part of the day. Because in the evening, that's when I finally wake up. Back when I was in school, getting up at 5:30 was the worst torture imaginable. Every morning, I'd sit on the back of Shen Buyu's bike, hold her with my eyes closed, and keep sleeping. I could have 3 dreams during a 10-minute break between classes. Whenever I woke up, her school uniform was draped over me. I remember one time, half asleep, someone sighed beside my ear. Sigh, you sleep so much. What am I supposed to do with you on the day you marry me? Then, on the day I turned 24, she woke me up that morning. She snuggled into my arms and said, Fang Xiu, let's have our wedding in the evening. I mumbled in response. She kissed my forehead and let out a satisfied breath. My little sleepy head has to get enough rest. Or what if he gets cranky and won't marry me? Who could I complain to then? But now, it isn't that I won't marry her. It's that she's marrying someone else. There really is no justice in it. I stood and picked up my drawing board. At that very moment, Lu Ran noticed the ring on my hand. Following his gaze, I wiggled the ring. She had said that too. Are you married, Brother Fang? Yeah, I've been married for 5 years. What about your wife? Didn't she come with you? I looked at the woman walking toward us in the distance and gave a slight shake of my head. As I walked out of the guest house, Lu Ran's laughter still carried over. He was telling Sister Li how he proposed to Shen Buyu. I quickened my pace. I found an open spot and set up my drawing board. The moment I picked up my palette, a wave of dizziness hit me. I took my medicine case from my pocket. After swallowing the pills, the discomfort slowly faded. I vaguely remember the day I proposed. As Shen Buyu's car rounded a corner, it suddenly lurched forward out of control. As the wall ahead rushed closer, her first instinct was to pick up her phone and call me. Thankfully, the car crashed through the wall. But then she realized the wall was only a thin layer of foam. At the same time, lights came on, and the scent of flowers filled the air. I stood amid a sea of flowers, wearing a perfectly tailored suit. Our friends and family were all dressed up. Even Tito wore a dashing little suit as he sat beside me. I walked over and opened the car door. Looking at the stunned Shen Buyu. Miss Shen, it's time. That was our secret signal. Time to eat. Time to get out of school. Time for a kiss. Time for you to marry me, and for me to marry you. I lifted her out of the car. As applause rang all around us, Shen Buyu did dangerous work. Yet she was so nervous she could barely speak. Fang Xiu, what are you? Miss Shen, have you had a good day today? She was too choked up to speak, and could only nod again and again. Miss Shen, there's something very, very important I need you to do for me. Only you can do it. What is it? Be my wife. Marry me. Then I'll give you twins. Maybe even triplets. After I proposed that day, she bought a lottery ticket on our way home. She told me, if it wins, all 30 million is yours. What if it doesn't win? Then marrying you used up all my luck. No wonder what? No wonder I had such rotten luck before. I've been saving it all to meet you. Of course you were. You saved up 19 years of luck just to meet me. You better cherish me. I leaned over and kissed her. Then I looked at her solemnly. I will. The memory faded. Now, the sunset appeared. I stared silently at the setting sun. Her words still echoed in my ears. But the woman I once knew was gone. When I headed back with my drawing board, the lights outside the guest house were already on. As I approached, a figure stood by the entrance. When she heard me and turned her head, I actually saw panic in her eyes. I lowered my head and did everything I could to ignore her. But as we passed each other, I heard her say, Fang Xiu, I remember you. In that instant, my mind seemed to tremble. Had my Shen Buyu come back to me? Did she remember me? Did she remember me? Shen Buyu had once been badly injured. Her head had suffered a violent impact. She needed 8 stitches, and both her legs were broken. Before I went to see her, I prepared myself. I must not cry. But the moment I saw her, I couldn't stop the tears. But something even more terrifying came next. Shen Buyu looked at me blankly and asked, Who are you? With tears in my eyes, I nearly broke down when I heard that. I knew her head injury was serious, but I never imagined she wouldn't remember me. I quickly wiped away my tears and choked out, I'm Fang Xiu, your boyfriend. We love each other very much. There was no point in saying the rest. In that moment, it felt as though my world had collapsed. My boyfriend. Looks like I have good taste. Was I good to you? You were very good to me. She considered that for a moment. Since I was very good to you, can you not scold me this time? My eyes flew wide open. Fang Xiu, I'm sorry. I got hurt again. I made you worry. When I heard that, I burst into loud sobs. You didn't lose your memory. I was teasing you. I didn't want you to be so upset. You scared me to death. I thought you'd really lost your memory and forgotten me. She wiped away my tears and softly comforted me. But don't worry. Even if I lost my memory, I'd still fall for you the first moment I saw you. I remembered those words from Shen Buyu for a long time, so I thought she had truly recognized me. I turned around stiffly. My shoulders and calves trembled uncontrollably. Buyu was on the tip of my tongue. But when I saw her indifferent gaze, I swallowed the name at once. Shen Buyu would never look at me that way. I silently lowered my head, feeling despair wash over me. Captain Wang told me, but he didn't mention you. She slowly reasoned it out. You feel very familiar to me, but not in the way co-workers do. Every time I see you, I feel guilty. I'm even a little afraid of you. You know I'm allergic to mushrooms, and the red cord around your neck is just like mine. We got those red cords together at Xianyan Temple. I prayed for her safety. She prayed that my wish would come true. Each cord had the silver charms on it, engraved with our initials. I'd forgotten. Though Shen Buyu had lost her memories, her instinctive vigilance remained. Captain Wang and the others had been unusually warm toward me. It was only a matter of a day or two before she figured it out. But as for who I was, perhaps she couldn't figure it out, or perhaps she had, but couldn't believe it. I slowly raised my head and met her scrutinizing gaze. But she looked down at my ring. Lu Ran said, You're married. You and I. Yes, a woman about to get married had suddenly encountered a man who might be connected to her. Of course, she was utterly confused. I am married, but it has nothing to do with you. It was obvious. I saw her let out a sigh of relief. I never could have imagined there would come a day when Shen Buyu would be relieved to have nothing to do with me. I still remember, back in school, how, whenever I caught her secretly looking at me, her tips would redden and she would look so flustered. And when I agreed to be her boyfriend, the smile on her face when her wish came true. Looking at the woman before me, as I thought of it all, I couldn't stop the tears from falling. Seeing them, she looked at a loss. I'm sorry. It's okay. Your parents took pity on me. They raised me like their son. You and I aren't that closely connected. I came mainly to check on you for them. As for the red cord, I tugged it hard, and it fell away. Your parents prayed for your safety, and got one for me while they were at it. Shen Buyu just looked at me in silence, but I no longer had the strength to keep up the lie. Those words should let her marry without worries. But when she turned away, I couldn't let go. Clinging to my last shred of hope, I called out to her. Shen Buyu. The present I'd heard countless times never came from her lips. She didn't even stop walking. She only tilted her head slightly. In the end, I returned to my room and crouched in the bathroom corner for a long time. 5 years. A full 5 years. Even in my dreams, I wished Shen Buyu would return to me. Yet the moment she appeared, I had no choice but to push her away. Overwhelmed by emotion, my stomach churned, and the taste of blood surged into my throat. Fang Xiu. What's wrong? Open the door, quickly. I braced myself against the wall and stood up, flushed the toilet, then walked out as if nothing had happened. I'm fine. I just slipped and fell. Captain Wang seemed to sense something. You don't have to bottle it up around me. I'm fine. I'm okay. Captain Wang looked as if he wanted to say something, but stopped. In the end, he patted my shoulder and turned back toward his bed. The moment I turned my head, I saw the item on the table again. An orange invitation to an evening wedding. That should have been mine. In that moment, resentment rose inside me, so I rushed out the door, heading straight for the hall. I would tell her, I'm your real fiancé. But when I stepped outside, Lu Ran's laughter drifted down from the second floor. I looked up and saw Lu Ran blow-drying Shen Buyu's hair. That laughter froze me in place. What if I told her that I was her real fiancé? What would she do with me? She might cancel the wedding out of pity for me and care for me for old time's sake, but she would never love me again. I didn't want her pity. I only wanted Shen Buyu to love me. On my third day here, I couldn't sleep, so I hid in the bathroom and went through the photos in the box again, staying awake until dawn. Their wedding was 2 days away. Early that morning, Lu Ran's voice rang out in the courtyard. He was arranging the wedding. We need a flower arch here. Red roses. How long should the red carpet be? How large should the backdrop be? If Miss Shen doesn't get a photo wall, you're dead. The noise in the courtyard went on and on. I buried my head beneath the covers, but Lu Ran's voice haunted me, drilling straight into my ears. Shen Buyu and I had planned a wedding too. The aisle was lined with the freesias I'd used when I proposed. Shen Buyu made the bridal bouquet herself. The guest seats were decorated with orange ribbons. We settled on the dishes only after revising the menu for times. Even the wedding candy was chosen together. The candy boxes even had cartoon versions of us printed on them. I once held her hand as we walked down that long flower-lined aisle. It was only a rehearsal, but we were both unbearably nervous. But the mission came that very night. I never got to put a wedding ring on her finger, or see her wear the wedding dress embroidered with her name. She kept apologizing to me. She said she'd be back in a week. Just 1 week. Then she'd come right back. So I waited and waited. For 5 years. Until I received news that she was marrying someone else. When I put away the photos and went outside, many people were already setting up the venue in the courtyard. The moment Lu Ran saw me, he ran over. Brother Fang, I need a small favor. So I took out my palette. With just a few strokes, I sketched the outline of a sunset. That's enough, Brother Fang. You're such a great painter. If we didn't need to put up photos, I'd have you cover the whole thing. Photos? Yes. These are photos of Miss Shen and me from the past 5 years. Lu Ran pasted the photos up one by one. This one was taken just after Miss Shen left the hospital. She was painfully thin, but incredibly fierce. I saved her. She worked for me to repay her debt. Actually, I was the first to fall for her. I pursued her for 2 years. She always gave the same reason for rejecting me. She said she had forgotten something very, very important. Until she found it, she couldn't think about anything else. Hearing that, I suddenly remembered what I said when I proposed. Shen Buyu, there's something very, very important I need you to do for me. And only you can do it. What is it? Be my wife. I looked at the person in the photograph, revisiting the past. Did she ever find that very important thing? No, she doesn't remember anything. I helped her search for 3 years. Later, we went through some bad things together. She pitied me, so she agreed to be with me out of pity. After a long, long time, I finally nodded. Then I guess it wasn't that important after all. No, that's not it. It was very important to Miss Shen. She hates hospitals, but for that one thing, she went to the hospital for treatment for 3 years. Rain or shine. Is that so? I raised my hand and touched the photograph. Why bother? If she forgot it, then it wasn't important. Brother Fang, these are our wedding photos. Beautiful, aren't they? Brother Fang, why aren't you saying anything? Don't you think they look good? I nodded, forcing a normal expression onto my face. They look lovely. Their wedding photos are so unique. They reminded me of the wedding photos in my box. Brother Fang, where were your wedding photos taken? At school. Wow. From school uniforms to wedding gowns. Brother Fang, you two were so romantic. I wasn't the romantic one. Shen Buyu was. She was the one who suggested returning to our school for wedding photos. Remembering my wedding photos, I finally smiled. They were taken in Class 35's classroom. That was where she confessed her feelings to me. We went to great lengths to take wedding photos at the school. It was afternoon that day. Our first location was our old classroom. The desks and chairs were still arranged as they had been back then. I stood by the back chalkboard. That was when Shen Buyu came in. She wore her old school uniform, with a stuffed rabbit in her arms. Our final location was the sports field. She stood on the field in an orange wedding gown, watching the boy who was hers race toward her. After years of love, we had finally found our happy ending. That school field held so many memories. Hand warmers in winter, her unmistakable favoritism during our hike, and our first touch at the fun sports meet. By the time we finished, dusk had fallen. The two of us sat at the edge of the field, watching the sunset while catching our breath. As if performing a magic trick, Shen Buyu pulled a bottle of lemon drink from behind her back. It was my favorite drink back in school. There was a sticky note on it. Fang Xiu, you look so handsome today. Before college, we were assigned to different classes. Shen Buyu and I. One of us was on the first floor, the other on the third. Our workload was heavy, and our breaks didn't line up. We were like star-crossed lovers, and seeing each other was nearly impossible, and the heat that summer was unbearable. It made me even more irritable. The only time I could see Shen Buyu was during daily exercises. One evening, I returned from the cafeteria. As I reached into my drawer for practice papers and prepared to study, my fingers suddenly found something cold. When I took it out, it was an ice cold drink. There was a sticky note on it. You can't do it. It was obviously Shen Buyu's doing. After that day, that kind of drink often appeared in my drawer. Every bottle had a sticky note on it. I never imagined a day like this would come. Life was better than I ever dared hope. The lover of my youth would become family, and we'd return to our old school to take wedding photos. Idiot. Shen Buyu nestled into my arms. I'd thought about it long ago. Do you know what I mean? Of course I do. Of course. I want Fang Xiu to carry me home. The memory faded. I stared at that photo, unable to move for a long time, until Lu Ran's voice pulled me back. Brother Fang, you should be the first to sign it. Lu Ran meant well, but I held the pen without moving for a long time. Forget it. My handwriting isn't very nice. Wedding flowers had to be ordered in advance. Shen Buyu was busy planning her wedding with Lu Ran. So, Lu Ran took me out with him. I really wanted to refuse, but I wanted to hear him tell me about her past 5 years. The flower shop was in town. It was small, but filled with flowers. Boss Wang, 1,000 red roses, for the day after tomorrow. You got it. We just got some freesia in. They're very fresh. Would you like a few stems? Lu Ran shook his head. I don't really like these. Let's choose something else. Still, I bought the stems of freesia as we left the shop. When we passed a fruit stand, Lu Ran crouched down to pick out mangosteens. Miss Shen loves mangosteens. Let's get her plenty. We lived in a northern city, where apples and pears were the common fruits. I never knew her favorite fruit was mangosteen from the south, other than her face. Nothing else about her seemed like my Shen Buyu anymore. Just then, a motorcycle swerved wildly into the alley. Two police officers were chasing it. The motorcycle was speeding, and its rider had no intention of braking. Just as Lu Ran stood up, the motorcycle grazed his clothes. Without thinking, I used all my strength to shove him away. The next second, I was thrown into the fruit stand, then fell to the ground with the fruit. Before I lost consciousness, all I could see were my flowers being trampled underfoot. Brother Fang, on my third day here, I ended up in the hospital. When I groggily opened my eyes, it was evening. A circle of people stood around my bed, including Captain Wang and Shen Buyu. When I woke again, it was before dawn. Only Captain Wang remained by my side. Your illness, when did it start? I stared at the ceiling and sighed. About 6 months ago. Why didn't you tell anyone? It isn't a bad thing. To me, this illness is a relief. Then are you really not going to tell her? You still have a chance, Fang Xiu. I forced my eyes wide open, refusing to let the tears fall. No matter how unwilling I was, I could only accept it. No, we both know. Shen Buyu's parents didn't die in an accident. They were killed in retaliation. If she learns the truth, she'll be devastated. And knowing her, she won't let it go. I don't want her hurt again. I can't tell her I'm her fiancé. Then immediately make her arrange my funeral, losing 3 loved ones at once. How would she survive that? She's about to get married. Why are you crying now? What is a grown man crying for? Don't cry for me. When I first learned I had this illness, I felt relieved. It wasn't until I heard about Shen Buyu that I fell apart. But when I saw her with Lu Ran, I was glad I had this illness after all. Fang Xiu, you. Besides, you've seen it too. She's Miss Shen, not my Shen Buyu. My Shen Buyu must still be waiting for me to find her. I'll be able to see her soon. Captain Wang, can you do me a favor? On the 4th day, I woke early. When Lu Ran brought breakfast, I saw that something was wrong with his expression. He looked completely dazed. The moment Captain Wang finally stepped out, Lu Ran came over to me and suddenly spoke. Brother Fang, Miss Shen is your wife, isn't she? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go through your box. I went to get you a change of clothes and found your box hadn't been properly packed. I set down the porridge and looked at the guilt-stricken Lu Ran before me. I took her from you. She was supposed to be yours. I kept her from you for 5 years. I'm truly sorry, Brother Fang. I'm sorry. Lu Ran, you have nothing to apologize to for. The woman you love is Miss Shen. The woman I love is Shen Buyu. How did you take anything from me? But Miss Shen is Shen Buyu. Miss Shen is the one who doesn't love you. The one who loves me is Shen Buyu. I said she's not, so she's not. I risked my life to save you, not to watch you call off the wedding. Lu Ran stayed until Captain Wang returned, then he left. His eyes were still red when he left. Captain Wang went home that afternoon to catch up on sleep, and said he'd bring dinner that evening. But I never expected that evening Shen Buyu would be the one bringing dinner. The thermos held easy-to-digest steamed egg custard, milk-flavored steamed buns, and braised pork ribs. She probably didn't know what I could eat, so she made to portions. What surprised me most was the dessert. Sweet potato cheese. I desperately wanted to try her braised ribs, to see whether she'd added too much soy sauce this time. But my stomach could only manage a little egg custard. I sat on the bed. Shen Buyu stood by the window. Neither of us said a word, but it didn't feel awkward at all. Once upon a time, we would wake at dusk after an afternoon nap. I'd sit on the window seat and play guitar, while she lay on the bed watching me. It was this quiet then, too. Fortunately, my stomach cooperated today. I finished the egg custard in my bowl, but when I reached for the sweet potato cheese, she came over and handed it to me. Thank you. Don't thank me. You saved Lu Ran. I should be thanking you. At those words, the sweet potato cheese suddenly tasted bitter. I hastily took 2 bites and ended my dinner. I knew she had something to say, but in the end, she said only this. Get well soon. I knew I should offer some good wishes too. Congratulations on your wedding. May you grow old together. Something like that. But I couldn't say a single word. Thank you. I hope you too have a good life together. Forgive me. That was the greatest blessing I could give them. Shen Buyu nodded. Then she took the thermos and left. My gaze followed her retreating figure. The moment the door shut, I pulled out my four. Dragging my injured leg, I hobbled to the window and leaned against it. I greedily watched her walking away, trying to burn the sight into my mind. I softly called out, Shen Buyu. My voice grew louder, Shen Buyu. But it was all in vain. I secretly left the hospital without telling anyone, because I had lied about my discharge date. No one knew. I returned to the guest house to pack my things. When I got back to my room, someone had clearly made my bed, but after one glance, I knew Shen Buyu had done it. She was still the same as before, still so fond of keeping things clean. I didn't stay in the room long. I hurried to the shore. It was already evening. I thought, a wedding by the sea at sunset would be perfect. The photos would be beautiful too. With a wedding like that, I could die without regrets. At last, I found the courage to open the invitation Lu Ran had given me. Dear Mr. Fang Xiu, come enjoy a sunset and witness a wedding in the name of love. Below were Miss Shen and Lu Ran's signatures. Even if her memories had changed, her handwriting had not. She had written my name countless times, always giving the final stroke a little upward flourish. It was the same this time. My name and Shen Buyu's appeared once again, on a wedding invitation. The difference was, last time, I was her groom. This time, I was a guest at her wedding. The invitation for Shen Buyu's and my wedding was orange too. Its cover had a subtle floral pattern, They were freesias, my favorite flowers, and the flowers Shen Buyu used when she proposed. Dear friend, my beloved, and I sincerely invite you to attend our wedding and witness our love. The wedding time was written especially in orange ink. Shen Buyu had handwritten every invitation for our wedding. She stayed up all night. I tried to talk her out of it. Printed ones would be fine. Why make things so hard on yourself? Shen Buyu took the last sip of her black coffee. It was so bitter. Her face twisted. But she said with conviction, of course, it is different. Machine printing has no feeling. I have to let everyone feel my joy. Then keep at it. You still have over 100 left. Shen Buyu's mouth twitched. Honey, bring me another black coffee. I thought. With so little time and so much to do, the quality of her writing would be uneven. But unexpectedly, every card was written in exceptionally neat, beautiful script. What surprised me most was that Shen Buyu had even written an invitation specifically for me. I closed the wedding invitation, picked up my suitcase, and walked out. Goodbye, Miss Shen. On my 5th day here, it was Shen Buyu and Lu Ran's wedding day. I heard my seat was in the front row, but I'm sorry. I was already on the train, heading back to Lincheng. Not long after I sat down, my stomach began to hurt. These past few days, the pain had been coming more and more often. I remembered that after I got together with Shen Buyu, I became so fussy. The slightest pain would make me lose my temper. Shen Buyu's friends all said she had a terrible temper. But after she started dating me, she never showed any temper at all. Even when I was being unreasonable, she would still soothe me. The moment I heard her call me baby, the pain would vanish instantly. But now, the pain left me breaking out in a cold sweat. In the past, she would have been beside herself with worry. When I hurt my leg before, her eyes turned red from worrying about me. But the pain in my body now was 100 times worse than when glass pierced my flesh. But Shen Buyu, why aren't you here to comfort me? The train traveled north. The painkillers soon sent me to sleep. I dreamed that I had returned to school. There, I saw 19-year-old Shen Buyu. The Shen Buyu whose eyes held only me. The Shen Buyu who loved only me. The first thing I did after returning to Lincheng was to pick up Potato from the pet shop. Potato, who had not seen me in ages, sprang up the moment she saw me, meowing, her little paws batting nonstop against the cage. The instant the cage opened, she ran toward me, rubbing eagerly against my leg. As soon as we got home, I gave Potato a bath. Potato hated baths more than anything. Every bath was a battle of wits and will. But strangely, whenever Shen Buyu bathed her, she was perfectly obedient. Potato was very attached to Shen Buyu, and Shen Buyu treated her like a daughter. Shen Buyu picked out Potato's shampoo. She chose her little bath basin too. Shen Buyu was also the one who spoiled her into being a picky eater. Potato, you've gained weight again. Oh, Dad needs to tell you something. This time, Dad went there and met that person. She looks a lot like Mom. But she isn't Mom. Because she didn't recognize Dad at first sight. Potato loved having her chin scratched. She closed her eyes in bliss. I gently reasoned with her. Dad has no regrets. You're the only one I can't stop worrying about. But don't worry. Before Dad goes, I'll make sure you're taken care of. I promise. You'll definitely love your new owner. At the guest house, Miss Shen loved playing with that golden retriever. They often played around on the beach, getting covered in sand. Bathing a golden retriever was no easy task. But Miss Shen was very patient. She combed its tangled fur until it was smooth. All the animals at the guest house had been rescued. She took excellent care of them. If she could adopt Potato, I could finally rest easy. After getting Potato settled, I began packing up the house. I took down all the wedding photos from the walls and put them in the box under the bed. There was also the rabbit plushie that had once been inseparable from her, and the sticky notes she had written to me. The last things I put in the box were a pair of thermoses. They were the matching thermoses Shen Buyu and I used. I stood in the living room, studying every corner of the house, as though I wanted to burn it all into my mind. In the end, I sighed and softly called out, Potato. Potato came out of her cat bed. I carried Potato into the bedroom. She expertly found her usual spot. It was where Shen Buyu used to lie. After all these years, even though her scent had long been washed from the bedding, Potato still curled up where she had once been. As I stroked Potato's fur, I took the sleeping pills from the bedside table. I couldn't sleep without them. Potato had long grown used to it. But today, she suddenly began acting up. I didn't know how many pills I swallowed. All I knew was that my throat tasted bitter. Before going to sleep, I sent Captain Wang a message. He didn't reply. Maybe Miss Shen and Lu Ran's wedding wasn't over yet. I sent several more messages, one after another, then turned off my phone and went to sleep. Potato. While Dad is gone, make sure you eat well and sleep well too. Otherwise, you'll get sick. Be good. Go to sleep. The moment I had taken care of everything and lay down, I suddenly felt unbelievably relieved, as though I had returned to the past. I fell asleep quickly, sinking into a long dream. In the dream, I held an orange invitation. When I opened it, I found my own name written on it. Fang Xiu. What are you standing around for? Why haven't you gone to pick up your bride? My bride. But I could never make out the bride's name on the invitation. Seeing that I didn't react, someone pushed me in front of a makeup mirror. Fang Xiu, did you stay up all night? Makeup artist. Please. I sat there blankly, letting the makeup artist trim my eyebrows and style my hair, thinking that this was a dream I could wake from at any moment. I said nothing more. When I opened my eyes, I could barely believe the person in the mirror was me. After years of looking so worn down, I had not seen myself looking so radiant in a long time. My friend dramatically dropped his jaw. Well, Fang Xiu, cleaned up like this, you're actually pretty handsome. Come on, put on your suit. It's time to get your bride. Before I could say a word, my friends shoved me into a suit, then crammed me into a car. We sped all the way there. We soon arrived at the bride's house. But before I could knock, a sharp-eyed bridesmaid inside shouted, "The groom is here. The groom is here." My friends immediately started hurriedly pushing me forward, until we reached the door. Fang Xiu, what's the plan? Do we barge in, or slip them red envelopes? Can I ask, who is my wife? Are you kidding me? You slept one night and woke up with amnesia. Who else could your wife be? Of course, it's... Before my friend could finish, someone inside yelled, "No red envelopes, no open door." Then, plan B. Fang Xiu, what are you waiting for? Get the red envelopes. After we symbolically slipped a few red envelopes through, my friend immediately shouted, "The other red envelopes are too thick. We can't fit them through." The money-hungry bridesmaids promptly opened the door, and we seized the chance to swarm inside all at once. Naturally, I charged in faster than anyone, but the moment I entered, I saw that orange wedding dress and the bride's face. It was 20-for-year-old Shen Buyu. This was my Shen Buyu. This was the 24-year-old Shen Buyu who had said she would marry me. Tears suddenly slipped down my face, beyond my control. The instant Shen Buyu saw them, her face changed. She suddenly shouted, "Everyone, shut up." She hurried over, asking carefully, "Honey, why are you crying? Did I do something wrong?" Seeing Shen Buyu's anxious face, I couldn't hold myself together any longer. "What took you so long? Do you know how long I've waited for you?" Shen Buyu had not slept all night. She had risen at 4 in the morning to get ready and wait for her groom. She truly had no idea how she had been late, but she apologized at once. "Honey, I'm sorry. I kept you waiting. It will never happen again." Fang Xiu, why are you crying? Hurry up and take your wife away. Seeing that I was overwhelmed, my friend promptly covered my mouth and moved on to the next part. In the end, I pulled myself together and let the bridesmaids and groomsmen put me through the ringer. Whether it was wearing a skirt and dancing, or kneeling to sing conquer, I accepted every challenge. To find Shen Buyu's wedding shoes, I gave it everything I had. Seeing me drenched in sweat from doing push-ups, she felt sorry for me and gave the wardrobe a meaningful look. I understood at once. With a light jump, I grabbed the wedding shoes from atop the wardrobe. The bridesmaid fumed. I knew it. "Shen Buyu, you traitor." I quickly put Shen Buyu's shoes on her, then scooped her up and ran downstairs. Even the groomsmen behind me couldn't catch up. Dream or not, all I knew was this: I finally married my girl. Hey, keep it down. That only made me more excited. Fang Xiu, finally married Shen Buyu. The moment we got into the wedding car, Shen Buyu lifted my foot onto her lap and carefully put a bandage on it. She was completely focused on it. Watching her, I felt dazed. Even when I reached the hotel entrance, it still did not feel real. Our wedding portrait stood at the hotel entrance. Boxes of wedding sweets sat on the welcome table beside them. They even had cartoon versions of us printed on them. The wedding was outdoors. Multicolored sunset clouds filled the sky. Countless starlights flickered on across the lawn. A long flower-lined aisle stretched out before me. It was lined with the freesias I had used to propose. This was the wedding we had planned all those years ago. The bouquet in my hands had been made by Shen Buyu herself. It was made of orange freesias. Every guest held flowers in their hands, watching us with warm blessings in their eyes. As the music began, our evening wedding was about to begin. Shen Buyu was not waiting for me at the end of the aisle. Instead, she took my hand and walked the flower-lined aisle with me, step by step. We held each other's hands tightly and walked slowly. Our family and friends cheered excitedly for us. The woman beside me threw back her head, laughing with pure joy. I had never seen Shen Buyu so thrilled. She kept greeting everyone, raising our clasped hands high, her face beaming as she said thank you. I never thought we would have a day like this. Without realizing it, I squeezed her hand even tighter. After we reached the end of the aisle, and I finished my vows, she solemnly reached into her pocket and took out the note she had prepared. Fang Xiu, my beloved husband, I have had two moments of great fortune in my life. The first was in class 35, when I met a classmate named Fang Xiu. The second is today. I finally became Mrs. Fang, married to Fang Xiu, the boy I met in class 35. Fang Xiu, thank you so much for believing in me and marrying me. Because of my job, I often have to disappear for long periods, leaving you to worry and fear for me. I feel so terribly guilty. But please do not worry. I will take good care of myself, do everything I can to finish my missions and come home soon, and never make you worry again. Fang Xiu, while you miss me, I miss you desperately too. Fighting with everything I have to return to your side. I, Shen Buyu, promise you here and now, I will cherish you as I always have for the rest of my life. My love for you will never change. I vow to grow old with you until the end of time. Honey, I love you. After Shen Buyu finished her vows, we began exchanging rings. Potato delivered the rings. The cool rings slid onto our fingers. Both our eyes brimmed with tears. I held Shen Buyu tightly in my arms. She held me back. Shen Buyu, I finally married you. Honey, why are you crying again? I'm crying too. These are tears of happiness, right? Yes, honey, you're right. I am so happy right now. As the final glow of sunset faded, the wedding delayed by 5 years was finally complete. When Fang Xiu died, I still knew nothing. We returned to Lincheng that evening. First, we went to visit my parents. Looking at their portraits, I finally knew who I had inherited my features from. They were just as I had imagined them. A gentle, peaceful mother, and a stern, upright father. After offering incense, I asked everyone else to go down. Alone, I told my parents all about the past 5 years. By the time I came down from the mountain, the tear tracks at the corners of my eyes had long dried. Captain Wang took us to my parents' home. It was in an old residential complex, but it had everything we needed. The moment I opened the door, dust flew everywhere. I walked straight to the wall in the living room and looked at the enormous family portrait. Something inside me struggled. In the photo, I wore a uniform, with my arms around my parents. The three of us were smiling so peacefully. It was such a perfect family photo, yet I could not shake the feeling that something was missing. Lu ran and I tidied up the house together. The moment I saw the old mountain bike on the balcony, an image suddenly flashed through my mind. On the back seat of a boy's bicycle, a girl was sleeping soundly, but the image lasted only an instant. I also found many photographs from my childhood. Lu Ran could not put them down, but they stirred nothing in me. Once we had nearly finished tidying, Lu Ran asked me to buy some daily necessities at the supermarket. I had no idea where any supermarket was. Yet when I went downstairs, I turned right without hesitation. At the entrance to the alley, I found a little convenience store. After buying a few necessities, I stood on the street, looking at this city that felt both familiar and strange. An indescribable feeling filled my heart. I wanted to leave as soon as possible and return to the island. But when bus number 25 stopped in front of me and its doors opened, I boarded it as if possessed. The bus was full of students just out of school, all with neat student haircuts, wearing blue and white uniforms. At the same time, the person in those blurry fragments of memory was dressed the same way, sitting by the window. This bus had 13 stops. When it stopped at the Shanyang Road intersection, I got off. After I got off, there was a new residential complex called Chang'an Kangcheng. Just as I was about to enter, Lu Ran called me, so I hailed a taxi and headed home. The complex grew farther away in the rearview mirror, but once I was in the car, I did not feel I was getting closer to home. Instead, I felt farther away than ever. We stayed there for 3 days, meeting my old friends and colleagues, seeing their unfamiliar faces and heartfelt warmth. All I felt was guilt. They patted my shoulder, then slowly broke down in tears. You are alive. That is all that matters. On the third day, Captain Wang came to see me. He said I also had another home here. Then a place suddenly came to mind. When he brought us to Chang'an, I knew my instinct had been right. There were 2 apartments on the 3rd floor of Unit 3. As Lu Ran asked which one was mine, I was already standing before apartment 302 on the left. Captain Wang, pulling out the key, paused in surprise. Yes, apartment 302. It was 8 or 9 in the morning, when the sunlight was at its best. The moment the door opened, sunlight spilled across the floor. What glorious sunlight! Miss Shen, did you buy this place because of the sunlight? I did not know, but it felt as though my memories held a better answer. Orange dominated the room, orange curtains, an orange sofa cover, and orange bed sheets. The whole place felt wonderfully warm. There were many marks on the walls, as though picture frames had once hung there. There was a large bar in the living room, but strangely, there was no alcohol in it. Instead, it held more than a dozen varieties of floral tea. Lu Ran immediately burst out laughing. Now I know why you love floral tea. Miss Shen, there is a gift for you. The moment Captain Wang finished speaking, an orange tabby ran out of the bedroom. Its fur entirely golden, except for the white around its neck. Strangely, the cat came straight for me, circling around my legs. It rubbed its entire body desperately against them. Its meows were urgent. At last, I bent down, as if it had been waiting forever. It leaped into my arms and burrowed into my embrace. This cat sure warms up to people fast. Let me hold it too. Lu Ran reached out to pick it up, but it rewarded him with 2 swipes. This is Miss Shen's cat. His name is Potato. You adopted him back then. Looking after him these past few days has worn me out. No wonder he is so affectionate with me. Holding him, I went into the room we had just seen. I took a can of cat food from the bedside table. The little guy seemed to have been hungry for ages. Before I could even open it, he lunged for it. Captain Wang sighed at the sight. It has to be you. He would not eat for anyone else. All right, I have things to do. I will be going. Call me if you need anything. After seeing Captain Wang off, a sudden scream rang out behind me. The cat had scratched Lu Ran. I hurriedly took the first aid kit from beneath the television cabinet, then found the iodine and disinfected Lu Ran's wound. Miss Shen, how did you know there was iodine there? Me. I do not know either. It was instinctive. We had planned to stay another 2 days, but the restaurant suddenly had a problem. Lu Ran had to rush back to deal with it. He asked me to stay 2 more days and see everyone I needed to see. Over those days, I met many people, but I kept feeling that I had not met the most important person yet. That night, I suddenly came down with a high fever. The fever left me dazed, trapped deep in a dream I could not wake from. I dreamed of a boy born in this home. He attended the elementary school just outside, then the local middle school, and tested into the best high school. Every day, he rode his bike to school very early. The back seat was always reserved for one person. Eventually, he went to college. Everyone was happy for him. At the banquet thanking his teachers, he put an arm around a girl and boldly declared, "When we all meet again, we will be toasting at our wedding." The girl's face turned scarlet with embarrassment, but he took those words as a promise. The girl was gentle and treated him wonderfully. She personally prayed for a red charm bracelet and put it on him, hoping it would keep him safe. He got one for her too, hoping she would stop teasing him about the tear mole by his eye. Year after year passed. He began planning his proposal long in advance. He was an idiot, and his plan was even more ridiculous. He turned a perfectly good proposal into a complete car wreck. The car crashed right into his proposal setup. The girl cried. He thought he had moved her to tears. He gently gathered her into his arms and soothed her. It is time. He knew she would marry him. That was why he dared to plan such an outrageous proposal. After that, everything went just as they had imagined. They took their wedding photos, packed wedding suites, booked the hotel, and sampled the dishes for times. He was only getting married once in this life, so he dared not be careless. Once everything was ready, on the night of the rehearsal, even knowing it was only a rehearsal, he was terribly nervous. He even walked with his arms and legs moving on the same side. But when it had finally ended, the girl received orders. He told her not to worry and to go. She promised to come back in a week and marry him. But that mission was grueling. The girl was ambushed and thrown into the sea. I woke from the dream drenched in cold sweat, gasping for air. The crushing pressure and suffocating sensation slowly faded from my body. I saw the open photo album on the table. The person from my dream slowly merged with the boy in the photographs. In the middle of the night, I ran out of the house. I went to Chang'an Kangsheng again. The moment I opened the door, I heard someone say, "The sunshine feels so warm on your skin. Potato loves it too." Alright, then we will buy this place as our marital home. So that was the real reason. Do not drink cola. Your throat gets inflamed easily. I will make you some floral tea. Rose or lily? No, I want Gongju chrysanthemum tea. Looking at the dozen varieties of floral tea, I suddenly realized it was not me who loved floral tea. Every piece of furniture in this home had been chosen by the two of us. On the large, natural wood bed, afraid he would sleep in and wake up grumpy, I set our wedding for the evening. Yet I was the one who missed the wedding. Looking at the nail on the wall, I went into the bedroom. I knelt beside the bed. The moment I reached out, I touched a large box. All the hidden photographs were in here. Our first photo together as teenagers, all the way to our wedding photos. When he proposed, I said yes without the slightest hesitation. He trusted me so completely then. He believed I could give him all my love. There was also a stuffed toy in the box. I had won it on the day he proposed. I even said it was my lucky charm. It was just an ordinary stuffed toy, but because that was the day he proposed, he gave that ordinary toy special meaning simply because he loved me. A bundle of labels lay inside a small tin box. They were in my handwriting. After so many years, the labels had long since yellowed. One looked as though someone had often held it and stared at it. It was crumpled, as if it had been soaked in water. No, it must have been soaked with tears. The writing on that label had been blurred by tears, but I could still barely make out the words. Fang Xiu, you look so handsome today. I wrote it when we took our wedding photos at school. Even a tiny scrap of paper he treasured like it was priceless. Finally, I found 2 thermos cups. One was blue, and the other was pink. Back then, if he drank even one extra sip of water, I wanted to put his thermos on a pedestal. I loved him so much then. Those were all Shen Buyu's treasures. I am Shen Buyu. How could I forget myself? How could I forget that I am Shen Buyu? I completely broke down, tears pouring down uncontrollably. Fang Xiu, I had met you long ago. Why did I not recognize you? Why? Like a madwoman, I pounded the floor, venting the rage in my heart, hating myself for being so useless. When I had exhausted myself, I collapsed on the floor like a deflated balloon. Through blurred eyes, I watched my Fang Xiu. He did not get out of bed until evening. As he got up, he bragged that he would stiff fish for Potato and me. I slowly reached out, wanting to hold him one more time. Go get some rest. When you wake up, there will be fish soup. I could not help moving closer. Closer still. Potato, get down now. Do not bother Mommy. Daddy will open a can for you. Be good. Mommy has finally come back. Holding Potato, he turned and walked away. Do not go. Do not leave me. I lunged after him and fell onto the floor again. The pain brought me back to reality. This was Shen Buyu's life. A life with Fang Xiu was Shen Buyu's life. I disappeared for 3 days. Captain Wang and Sister Li found me in Chang'an Kangsheng. When they found me, I was lying on the floor, holding our wedding photo. There was no life left in me. Where is Fang Xiu? Please, tell me. Where is Fang Xiu? Please. Sister Li and Captain Wang exchanged a glance. I saw sorrow in their eyes. The young man in the portrait on the gravestone looked exactly as he did in my memories. I knelt before him, reaching out with trembling hands to stroke his face. Fang Xiu, I am back. There was no longer anyone. I could jump into his arms and ask for a hug, and no one would wait for me to come home again. What had I done? Buyu, Fang Xiu left you a letter. I anxiously opened the letter. The familiar handwriting made my eyes sting. Buyu, I hope this letter finds you well. When we were young, you often wrote me letters, but I rarely wrote to you. I never imagined my only letter would be my last. Do not feel guilty. I understand it all. You had already survived a brush with death. That was hard enough. As for everything else, just follow Miss Shen's own heart. To me, my Shen Buyu loved me until the very end. That is enough. I fell in love with you in the best years of my life. Every year you loved me so steadfastly was filled with happiness. Though we never had our wedding, in my heart, you have married me countless times already. We are family for life. In this life, I am truly content. From now on, live as Miss Shen. Do not blame fate or anyone else. In the end, we simply were not meant to be. And do not think of me anymore. Let me be reborn in peace. My Buyu, I hope you can find peace in your heart. May you be well all your life. Respectfully, Fang Xiu. After reading the letter, it felt as if my insides had been torn out. I slumped onto the ground. The letter in my arms was soaked with tears. When I returned from the cemetery, I looked like a beggar. I was utterly listless, my hair disheveled and my face grimy. I stood on the street in a daze. Then suddenly a car came speeding toward me. A little girl, barely 3 or 4 years old, was crouching right in front of it. I did not hesitate. I threw myself forward. The agony of shattering bones struck me again, but I still held the little girl tightly in my arms, shielding her. When something happened to Miss Shen, I knew nothing about it. When I got the police officer's call, I had just finished dealing with a leak in the kitchen. I thought Miss Shen had returned and wanted me to pick her up, but the officer said she was badly injured and unconscious. I went to Lincheng for the second time. Captain Wang picked me up. On the way, he told me that Miss Shen had regained her memories. She remembered her own name, and she remembered her fiancé. But her fiancé had died from illness. Miss Shen was in terrible pain. I froze. So she wanted to join him? Captain Wang shook his head. Fang Xiu would never allow her to do that. Besides, she promised Fang Xiu she would keep living. This time was an accident. She was hit by a car while saving a little girl. I was too anxious to speak. How is she? But Captain Wang looked out the window and fell silent. After I saw the doctor, I finally understood Captain Wang's expression. The doctor said the patient had no will to survive at all. Her family should talk to her more. Looking at Miss Shen in that hospital bed, I did not know what to do. I could only call her name. Miss Shen, our restaurant is only just starting to do well. We only just got married. Please wake up. The person in the bed still did not respond at all. She was determined to leave. We could not keep her here. Miss Shen, I am sorry. I changed your life. I was too selfish. This is all my fault. I am the one who should die. Please leave. Miss Shen, Miss Shen. No matter what I said, the person in the bed gave no response at all. Seeing her like this, I remembered the first time I met her. My father's fishing boat pulled her from the water. She was covered in injuries. My father was kind-hearted. He felt meeting her was fate. He borrowed a great deal of money for her treatment, leaving our already indebted family deeper in debt than ever. We had agreed to repay it by the end of the month, but they came to our door early that day. They took everything of value from our home, tore apart our little rundown restaurant, and broke both of my father's legs. After Miss Shen recovered, she was consumed by guilt. She was determined to repay my family's debts. Together, we spent 2 years paying off every debt. Just as she was about to leave, my father fell ill. On his deathbed, he entrusted me and our shabby little restaurant to her. She knew my father's final wish. Without a word, she expanded that little rundown restaurant. I knew she had secretly been searching for her family. We even filed a police report together. But back then, everything in that island town was so underdeveloped, and we could not find a single clue about her. I also knew she wanted to leave the island and find her family, but she was tied down by me and that little restaurant. After she agreed to marry me, she stopped looking for her family. Only then did I feel relieved. I was so afraid she would leave me. Later, our lives got better and better. Then Captain Wang and the others appeared, putting me on edge again, especially Fang Xiu. Later, I learned he was Miss Shen's fiancé, but Miss Shen did not recognize him, and somehow, I never told her the truth. I thought he had given her up for me. I never imagined he was sick. He was not stepping aside for me. He simply did not want to make things difficult for Miss Shen. Until his death, he only ever thought of her. Looking at the person in the hospital bed, I confessed the truth that had tormented me most. Actually, you were right to blame me. After we reported it back then, there was news about you. But I kept it all from you, because I truly could not bear to lose you. I wanted to be with you forever. I wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes. Now I know I was wrong. You and Fang Xiu have been separated by life and death. It was all because of me. Without me standing in your way, perhaps you two would have ended up together long ago. Fang Xiu might not have gotten sick either. No matter how you look at it, it is all my fault. If you want to go, then go. I will not force you to stay anymore. The moment I finished speaking, the person in the bed slightly moved a finger. Just as I thought she was about to wake up, the machines in the room suddenly began to sound alarms. A flat line appeared on the monitor. Miss Shen. Miss Shen passed away in the end. I buried her beside Brother Fang. They were meant to be together. Because of me, they lost 5 years for nothing. I am a sinner. The only way I could atone was to let them reunite. As for me, I will spend the rest of my life with this island. Day and night, I will pray for them.